Well, all right. Welcome to Scream Fix, the podcast all about screaming. We like to scream. I'm Will. This is my illustrious co-host Brian, and
Ooh, I like the way that sounded.
and
I want to be Feller though from now on. Can I
Feller.
be
Okay,
Feller?
yeah, that's fine.
Let the people really know who I am.
Skeer. And this is my illustrious co-host Feller, and today we're gonna get into some screaming. Um, but actually, before that,
That's what we do.
I just wondered, did you have a chance to catch that first step of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
You know what? I actually did. It was pretty good. What'd you think?
I liked it. I liked it. It was it was back to like some Marvel proper, Like, and I love WandaVision, so let me just throw that out there. Like, I really loved it. Thought it was
Yeah,
awesome. I'm glad that it was
we had
so vastly different.
we had a watch party. I mean, I know you liked it.
Yeah, yeah, but just for like my mom who's listening, loved
Yeah, our
WandaVision,
moms too.
but like it's Falcon and Winter Soldier is back to that like classic kind of like Marvel that we've like come to know and love with like the action and just the quips. But yeah, super liked it. What about you?
Yeah, yeah, no, I liked it. It's definitely not WandaVision. WandaVision
Right.
was really cool. I loved it. As I mentioned, we had the watch parties. It was awesome. Trying to guess what was happening next week. You kind of know that I felt like they kind of mismanaged expectations, and I still loved every second of it. But like you said, this quickly revealed that it wouldn't necessarily be that, and it was back to the main kind of what we all fell in love with: big action, funny quips, and character development, which I think we saw a lot of for the first episode.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like um, I think this. Sorry, I'm confusing myself in my head, but this takes place. I
That's
think
tricky stuff.
before. No, no, no. WandaVision takes place before this, right?
That's tough. Do you know when
I
WandaVision takes
I just
place?
confused
Like how
myself
many
so
weeks or
hard.
anything?
So
What
Wanda
what I do know is that this takes place 6 months after the blip. Do you
Falcon.
know when? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Do you
that's
know
right.
when?
Okay, yeah. So then WandaVision took place first because it takes place like a week after the everyone comes back.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so this takes
Yeah, that's
place
right. That's right. Yeah. Because it opens with them coming back in that hospital.
right, right.
Um, and what's fun is I think both of these are going to be in. This is something Kevin Feige and Marvel has done an amazing job at finding the right people to do the right projects. The guy that did WandaVision apparently has been in that universe of live. I don't know. I don't know what else to call it. So I'm gonna call it magic, live magic. Doing a lot of different stuff on a set to make it look like one thing. And when you see it behind the scenes, as they've released, things are being held up by strings, and it's really creative done, and it's shot in front of a live audience. And then this is done by two people who I think are really going to be able to speak to the voices that the project's looking for. I know the director, she's done a ton of like crime stuff. She's done a lot of stuff I've liked. I don't even want to say the wrong thing here because I know someone might care like our moms, but did Boardwalk Empire episodes, Punisher
Oh,
episodes, House of Cards, which I know you know I love. Then The Handmaid's Tale, The Walking Dead, and then one that I'm not exactly familiar with, but I saw and I know a lot of people love, which is Banshee. So I'm nervous. Well, I haven't said her name because I'm nervous to attempt the last name. Will can attest that I'm not very good with words. But Carrie Scogland, I believe. Or have
okay.
you seen the name? Are you familiar with the name?
No, actually, everything you just said was new to me. I didn't even know who was directing this, so that's super
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. And then the guy who created it is Malcolm Spellman, who did Empire, which I didn't watch, but I mean, obviously, it's done good things. I believe it's still even on the air.
Wait,
But
like Boardwalk Empire?
no, Empire. Um, I'm trying to think of their uh the original War Machine is in it. Terrence Howard. It's that
Oh, where he's like they're like music. It's about like music
music
producers and
family
stuff.
drama
Okay,
that's
yeah, yeah.
been plugging along.
I've never seen that
But so
either.
he's done that. He's doing this. He's really good at telling black stories. A lot of the stuff I watched even after I watched the episode, he got me excited about where they're gonna go. Just because it's like a scene I watched and took one way and thought of like, oh yeah, they're showing this. I didn't necessarily know how intentional that was until listening to those videos and seeing him say things like, the scene where they're trying to get alone and Tony Stark's taking all this flack. He's like, that's a fun moment, but what we were trying to like show is that, being a superhero won't even transcend being black. So, and I was like, yeah, good, well said. But so knowing that that's kind of what they're looking for and going after, I think these two people, similar to the WandaVision and similar to they always do with Marvel stuff, they find the right people to do the right projects. So.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like that's all across the board, like even down to casting. They always find, just like the perfect people. Shout
Yeah,
out.
and
Shout
then
out
people
Sarah
that
Finn.
Sarah Finn.
Yeah, that's the Marvel casting director's name is Sarah Finn.
What?
Yeah.
That's
A
crazy. I
little
was thinking, is there
context.
a correlation to our friend from high school, Sarah
Yeah,
Finn,
we
that I don't know about? Because if so, we need to start asking for
I
more
know,
free bar.
right?
Where's
Like
the swag at?
let us be an
Sarah,
extra.
stop holding back.
Seriously.
We were all friends. God.
But yeah, I always thought that was
This,
funny.
yeah, this one's gonna be. It looks like maybe shorter, but not, because they're longer episodes, but less episodes.
Right,
Six
there's
episodes,
six,
but
yeah.
40 minutes a piece. Maybe more on the last episodes. I don't know that much about that.
That was my
But
one
for the
letdown
first step, I liked it.
with WandaVision. Yeah, me too. Um,
I liked that they started separately too. I liked that a lot. I mean, we talked before. I got pretty lucky, and everyone else will find out about this. You obviously know. I like shows who do things I like or surprise me with something I like. It's tough to win me over if I don't like what's happening, even if I've already fallen in love with your character. Something else happens, and I'm like, no, I hate this. But they did everything I was hoping they do. They talked and addressed what the world has been like, for the blip, which I thought was something Wanda necessarily didn't do. We kind of saw more so everything through Wanda's sorrow from Endgame. We've already here in episode 1 had enough like purposely structured dialogue that would kind of let the audience know like, hey, this happened and it has not been good.
yeah,
Hooray, everyone's back, but then immediate turmoil it sounds like, and I thought that was a good way to not necessarily take time to have a character like flip through a PowerPoint of this has been going wrong, this has been going wrong, this has been going wrong, but just a couple dialogue, just a couple quotes, lines of dialogue from characters that really set that stage without having to be so obvious about it.
yeah, for sure. And I'm also super interested to like explore more of what the blip meant because like all we ever saw was in like basically a joke in Far From Home of like the band was playing and then they all come back like during the middle of that basketball game.
Yeah, man, I'm actually don't even. I'll have to go back and watch Far From Home because I forgot that that was even part of it, and it definitely is.
Yeah,
Because I was thinking really the only blip we got was from WandaVision in that hospital where all the chaos is going
yeah.
on, and
So I loved that too because like I
yeah,
said, in Far From Home, it's literally just like one mention of it and it's just played as a joke.
and back, yeah, then normal.
Yeah. So I would love to just see. I like seeing like the repercussions of that and just the all the dynamics that like something like that would cause. And this is kind of beside the point, not even going to be Falcon, but I would love to see a Marvel show take place like during the 5 years when everyone was gone, because I feel like that would have some really
Oh
cool
yeah,
like areas to explore.
I feel like maybe even do something like the. Not that I would ever take notes from DC if I'm Marvel, but do some kind of evil bad guy team up. Maybe some low level villains that could have a fun story during that time where there's not every superhero in the world that would
Yeah,
just come own and boss up on them, but some um, more heisty guys, I bet the Marvel people or the people at Marvel could easily think of like 100 people that could fit in that timeline really well.
that
Um,
would be awesome.
But I I'm gonna have to go back and watch Spider-Man. I don't want to get off on that, but now I'm getting real upset that because they go overseas and there's like nothing wrong, kinda. I feel
Yeah,
like.
it's pretty
I guess
much just
maybe it's still
normal.
the happiness of hey, Tony Stark saved the world and everybody's happy, and maybe it hadn't had like the chance to be like, oh, you know what? We haven't
Right.
been producing food for 5 billion people that weren't here, 2 seconds ago. So,
This is true.
um, I got some just random questions here from the episode that I thought you might be able to help me with.
Oh, yeah.
The moon theory.
The
Do
moon.
you think that was meta? Is there any like part of the community online that's been saying, "Oh, he's on the moon, he's on the moon"? Or do we think that that might be a joke about Fury, who's on the moon, potentially? Maybe he has the moon base, and that's where what's her name, Monica Rambeau, is headed to at the end of
Yeah.
WandaVision.
So that's what I was thinking. And so well in the MCU, the that spaceship we see him on at the end of Far From Home?
Yeah, Far From Home, which God explained that. I'm glad they did that because I was unhappy with a lot of stuff that happened, and then that ended up explaining it away, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that he
Like
was
the
the
things I had
scroll.
problems with, they're like, "Oh, it was a scroll," and I'm
Yeah.
okay, well, okay, I guess.
But it made it all better though, right? Because,
Yeah,
it wasn't
absolutely,
him.
absolutely. Yeah,
Uh
and I still liked that movie for the record.
Me
Don't want
too.
to catch you with flack as a Spider-Man hater over here. I love Spider-Man.
But so
It's the
the
coolest ever.
the ship he's on, I forget what it's called, but like or it might not even have a name, but I don't think that's on the moon. Like that's obviously just in space, right? But I think in the comics Nick Fury like did have a moon base. So like I figure that's maybe just kind of poking a joke at that, but I don't know. It'd be funny if like they just kept teasing more theories about like where Cap was throughout the show. Like with I mean obviously Sam and Bucky wouldn't, but like other characters. So that could be like a funny recurring gag, but we'll see.
I don't think I'm following you there.
Well, just because like the Torres, the guy that was asking him about that.
Oh, more people like him
Yeah,
asking
being
about
like
that.
asking like where like and having like crazy conspiracy theories about like where he is or what he's up to.
I heard he's, I heard Fury's still alive. Or someone could tell a Cap theory, and then somebody like, yeah, sure, and Fury's still alive too, and it could be a joke later on that they run into him. But
Ooh, I wonder if he will show up.
Nick Fury?
Yeah, I guess probably not
Oh
if
yeah,
he's in space.
I don't think Nick Fury's role is gonna change over these Marvel phases. I think he'll be the one glue until he can't or doesn't want to be used anymore. But as far as, I mean, in the first Avengers, he didn't necessarily have big scenes. He just came in at the end of every episode, or an
True.
agent would be calling him and have a conversation. So maybe he's just going to keep connecting our heroes and be the reason they're all communicating and stay connected and updated on each other.
I think you're right because he's getting a show. So I imagine in everything else he's just going to be kind of like the connective glue. Maybe show up in like an after
He's getting his
credits.
own show.
I
Interesting.
think so. I think the
That's
Secret Wars
interesting.
show is
I did
going to
not
be
know
about
that.
him. Maybe not though.
Secret Invasion is a show?
I think. I mean, it's called Secret Wars, which I thought the same thing because that's like a
So
huge.
it's different. Secret Invasion, something different, or am I getting myself just really
No, I know what
confused
you're
right
talking
now?
about, and I just don't know for sure that that's what this is about, but I think it is. I think Secret
Okay.
Wars is going to be about like the Secret Invasion plot, but it seems weird to make that contained to a Nick Fury show. Like I feel like that's a huge event in like the
Yeah, but
comics.
if we go back to Agents of Shield and stuff, I think you have a better ground base for creating the opportunity for cameos. I feel like more people will come on a Nick Fury run TV show, especially now that it's Disney Plus that's handling it and not uh WC, was that what the Avengers was on, or Agents of Shield? Avengers,
It was one of
or was
those.
that
It was
even?
like ABC or
Yeah,
CBS or something. I actually never watched it.
I watched it for first few seasons just because, me, I well, now I can't remember his name, Agent such and such, Phil Coulson. There it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But I love that dude. So I watched it and I fell in love with some of those other characters on there. But I absorb and watch far too much TV, and that's just been something I haven't gotten the chance to cut up or catch up on, even with the pandemic, which I think really breaks down that excuse. When people are like, "Oh man, just haven't had time to catch up on that now." It's
It's
like,
like,
dude, during that pandemic, you still
oh,
couldn't find time.
yeah.
Maybe you don't want to catch up. Is that possible? I think it is.
I
But I do want to catch up on that.
I've heard it's good. I just have never. I heard season one's a little slow, but like then it starts getting really good. So I just haven't
And
like.
I liked season one, so
Oh,
I'm only in for good stuff at this point.
apparently.
I think I kind of stopped watching right around the time Patton Oswalt came on. Loved the bit they did with his character was so cool. And I won't say anything beyond that to
Yeah, that's cool. I
spoil
didn't even know
anything.
he
But
was on it.
yeah, well, why don't you watch and
I,
go watch his awesome work?
I
He's
guess
the
so.
man.
I like.
He
Yeah,
is
he's
he's consistently someone who makes me put a smile on my face and hasn't let me down yet.
yeah. He seems pretty
A
down to
lot of
earth
these.
too. I mean, not that I know Patton Oswalt, but at least from like
Yeah, I was
social
about to
media and
say I
stuff.
forgot you guys are real
Yeah,
close
we
like that.
we been meaning to get lunch to catch up. So
But maybe let's talk about the actual episode at this point.
I
But
guess. I guess.
I don't know what the runtime is yet, but we're far past our due.
Yeah, I feel we just
It
got off
started
on
with
some
Sam,
tangents there. Um,
and then it just immediately was like, hey, you know how WandaVision didn't necessarily have all that action? Well, check out Sam. He can do whatever he wants in the air now.
you looking for this?
Um,
Boom.
I thought it was also interesting that they chose to kind of start him there in the I don't know planes very well, so this is gonna sound bad, but the hangar part of the plane where we've already seen in the previews him and Bucky in the hangar part of the plane have a full-on convo and be like, "What's
Yeah.
the plan?" And he jumps out. That whole scene now has so much more context out of the trailer for me, where like they haven't met up yet, and now I can only imagine Sam convincing him to come. He comes, and then he like big times, and then won't tell him a plan, drops out, styling, wanting to show off probably a little bit, but it was interesting to me that his suit seemed to be, just continuously upgraded.
Yeah. New
Is
digs.
is he? And I know it showed him kind of working on it himself. So like, is he really? Did, who originally created the suit? Because I was thinking, did he create the suit? And I just never picked up on that.
I don't think so. Like if he did, they never came out and said that. So like they might be like, yeah, he did, but that was never said. It was just he was part of the Air Force or whatever. And like,
Yeah,
he just said like I my wingman and I fly and then like later in the Winter Soldier, he like plops down the plans for those things and Cap was like, I thought you were a pilot or something. He's like, well, you never asked. So like seemingly it was through the military. But yeah, that scene where he's like working on his Red Wing with Torres at that
yeah,
table, I was like, oh, I guess Sam is like an engineer and knows how to do this stuff. But I had no idea that that was like in his wheelhouse. So maybe he
yeah.
did.
And yeah, it definitely made me happy. I was like, okay, this is explain. I like the idea that we're establishing he can keep the tech up to date. And if something breaks, no worries, he can fix it. And they even went on to reinforce this when he was like working on the boat at home.
Yeah,
I just don't know if I had missed the other scenes where they were kind of trying to hint at that, but I had not. I didn't know. I know I should say now for anyone who continues to listen, I don't read the comics. So if I say something and I sound like an idiot because of that, roast me. Let me know. If someone's like, "Yo, dude, anyone who's ever read a comic knows he's super fucking smart," I'd be like, "Cool, thank you, I appreciate that."
yeah, that goes for both of us. I have seen like a couple, like very, very little comic reading. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm just chalking mine up to none. I've read some. I have a good friend who collects a lot of them, and he's been like, "You got to read this, you got to read that." Not all of that is even Marvel though, and I would think I was a fraud if I pretended at all to have that kind of knowledge. Um, but again, the opening sequence and him like dodging locked on missiles and just reestablishing how much of I guess of a badass he is, right? Maybe.
yeah,
I mean, he's always been getting a scene or two in the movies because I think either him or Bucky has said this before, but the side characters are all the best characters in these Marvel movies, always. They help advance the plot. They like take these other people and give them reason to go somewhere else, and help develop those stories. And then now we're kind of taking all of those moments and now reinvesting them into a new perspective through this show. And so Sam, like doing awesome stuff, I was like, I guess he's always doing that. It shouldn't surprise me. But one of the questions I have, do you think the suit he wears is bulletproof? Because he spends a lot of time protecting himself with wings. And I'm kind of like, man, what if you were just bulletproof on the suit side? Is that something that's too heavy? Because even like when he turned his back and he had, or was whooping up on some dude and he got shot in the back and it hurt the machine's not even bulletproof off like a regular gun. I mean, I would be alarmed. That was very alarming to me when that happened. I was like, wait, what? This guy could go down to like a 9 millimeter? I don't think so. That doesn't add up in my head. And then it ended up fixing itself, I guess. It shows like, hey, yeah, we fixed and now we're good to go. And he does the turbo jet.
Oh
And so
yeah,
that kind of left me confused with
yeah.
that.
I
And
was
the other
confused
part
by
of
that
that
as well.
scene, yeah, the other part of that scene is when he scoops that guy out of the helicopter and he's just grabbing the man. And I mean, they did this already once where he like grabs, I think, Captain and throws him up on one of those big X jet things, from Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But that even in that moment, he like screams, and it's like a
yeah. He's like,
moment where like, yeah, it's super hard.
you're
And
a
in
lot
this one,
heavier
he
than you
just kind of
look.
like, yeah, and in this one, he just kind of like two arms the guy. Maybe that's the difference. But again, I just kind of thought like, oh God, is there is there a workout regimen he's doing, or is that just pure like hero stuff right there? Like, don't question it. And the reason I don't get it is, 'cause I sit on the sofa and watch shows, and I'm not doing the workout that Sam's doing. And if I was, I wouldn't think that was as weird. But it was hard for me to watch that part. And with the bullet happening kind of like right before it, it kind of left me a little confused there. But I do remind myself that it's a TV show about superheroes. Sometimes I gotta suspend my reality of belief and not be like that guy. Of like, wouldn't the bags of money slow them down? Wouldn't they be heavy? Like don't think too hard about some of that stuff. But I thought maybe there was an explanation out there you might have for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably chalk most of that up to just TV superhero. But the part where the thing got shot and it was like malfunctioning and then it later worked, I feel like there has to be something there that maybe we just both missed because that, I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of a weird, like, why even include that
Well,
it malfunctioned if it just fixed?
I think it could be establishing itself for later on that it fixes itself. So later on, when we're in something, it's like, oh, I'll just disable your la la la. We'll be like,
Yeah.
yeah, for this 8 seconds. But everyone else knows this is about to pop back on and
Yeah. I mean, they
be over
he
with.
did mention that like there was a line about having Stark tech, so like maybe it's got like the nanobots that
It actually
like
says Stark level tech,
mm,
which made
well,
me think like, is it not just straight up Stark tech? And that again led me to be like, did he make this himself?
I feel like Tony
But
definitely helped him out before he passed. Obviously, like
oh
that's
yeah,
where he started maybe, and then Sam's been messing with it ever since.
and if in case anybody forgot, which you wouldn't now, but if you watched this episode and then went to the internet definitely reminded you that Tony Stark just isn't the leader. He just designs everything, makes everyone look cooler, and pays for everything, or whatever that meme is. So, in that sense, I thought, you might have probably helped with him, but the suit gets better and better every time we see it.
Yeah,
And so I was kind of just thinking, oh, are we explaining that those improvements are getting done because Sam's a genius and he can do them? And dude, at the end of this, if any nothing else, at the end of this, Bucky should be like, "Yo, take your freaking wingsuit down to Wakanda and let Shuri go
yeah,
handle this for a while. She'll make this have three wings on it
that's
by the
true.
end of it." I
Vibranium
think she's like the
wingsuit.
smartest person left in the MCU, so you're a fool if you don't go take advantage of that.
That'd be nasty.
Yeah, I can only imagine. The wings would be able to get like shot bullets through them, and the nanobots would just come back in. Oh man, nanobots are so cool. I'll just never forget what they did for Tony Stark's suit. It was so cool. Um, But yeah, so that was my opening thoughts. I was like, this is so badass. And then immediately, just at the very end, I thought, why did that how did that bullet hurt him? And then how is he carrying this guy? Like, I wish that I thought for sure there'd be some kind of like like attachment to his suit that he could like hook someone into or like shoot a cord out of and let someone like hang from him or something.
Yeah,
Or just the idea that he's going to be able to carry that guy. I just have to get over that. I won't even bring it up anymore. I apologize. It just throws me off.
that's fair enough.
Um, but it goes to that scene with the gentleman who you've mentioned already, Torres. And my question to you is, Torres gonna be somebody else? I didn't really read anything on that or see anything on that. Do
Uh,
you know?
yes, but let me rewind real quick before we
Do it.
leave the opening. What I thought was super interesting is, and especially, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. The opening reminded me a lot of the Winter Soldier's opening, which
Ooh.
because it starts with Cap on a plane and he jumps out. Sam's on the plane, he jumps out, and they're both like going to
Oh.
uh like try to be a rescue mission essentially. Cap's going to that boat to help. I forget the exact details.
Same guy too, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get at, and it's the same guy too, which is like, which
That's awesome.
which brings me to another thing, which is that in Winter Soldier, that guy was hired by Nick Fury, and it was like a double con, because like Nick Fury's the one that wanted that like information because he thought Shield was dirty. I don't know if he thought it was because Shield was dirty, but like Nick Fury's the one who paid Bartrock, I think is his name, the Leaper, the bad guy, to like hijack that ship. So not that I think Nick Fury did it again this time, but I wonder if there's any type of parallel in that, like almost as if Sam was maybe being set up. And I say that because like he gives back the shield, which we haven't gotten to this yet, but he gives back the shield and is like blah blah blah, and the military's like yeah great, and then at the end of the episode we come to find out that they've given it to another dude to be Cap. So I was like maybe they want Sam like out of the picture, and just potentially maybe even this mission was to like
I
sabotage
like
him in
that.
some way.
Yeah, maybe they thought like for sure he would fail, setting him up for failure, and then they'd have an excuse to take the shield away.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, man.
So I just
Gosh. Woo! I like that. I like that a lot.
just because like the because that would also be kind of like a parallel to the Winter Soldier. Not that this show is gonna be all about parallels to the Winter Soldier, but I just thought that could be interesting, especially since they had the same freaking bad guy for both sequences.
And what's funny is I feel like this show's gonna be a lot about, and I probably am getting here just from that quote from WandaVision, but like, what is grief if not love persisting?
Yeah.
To me, this whole show is gonna be about grief.
Oh.
Sam sad, giving up the shield,
Yeah.
missing. They're both missing. Captain America, Steve Rogers, Bucky sad, the grief of killing all these people and how he still remembers it. And something that really hit me on, I watched the episode twice. The rewatch and really thinking everything through and trying to be as smart as I possibly could, and put myself in their scenario to try to figure out what maybe was the point of each scene, but it's easy to be like, I'm 106 and like think and pass through all that. But when you really think about it, like if you're woken up 4 times in a year, they defrost you, they say those words, and they send you with a mission.
Yeah.
You take a 6-hour window of doing something horrible, then you come back, mission report, and then they put you back under ice for the next thing. And you do that for 10 years, and it's probably more than 4 times a year. But, I know, and I think in Winter Soldier, they were like, you helped shape the decade.
Yeah.
And he did even more. But I mean, like, oh my God, it's like living your life is every worst nightmare you've ever had, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's
True.
nothing in between. It's not like he chilled with a bunch of those guys, and even though they were evil,
Yeah.
maybe had a normal conversation with an evil guy.
Right.
Like, man, killing's tough, right? Did you see the Knicks? No, we don't watch the Knicks here. It's like, oh, okay. No, nothing like that at all. Just those words, then just murder and bad shit. And then going back and going under again. Like, now that you're back up, you have calm and clarity, and you've got your brain back, you still only have those memories. Like, it would almost be better if you didn't remember all that
Yeah.
shit.
Very
Not
true.
better, but easier.
Yeah.
Um, And so like just that whole thing got me real excited for what they're gonna probably try to do in his journey because to me it's like again just like processing grief, and they even kind of mentioned like having steps or rules. I know they're not necessarily steps, but I hope that's like a reoccurring theme for him. And I think they found a really good uh, like he tells the story about one that kind of makes sense to us and is funny as he walks through the rules and establishes those. But then you get to see that interaction with the older gentleman, and we find out more about that. And that story, I feel like, can be overarching for this whole thing. Like, we don't even have to visit something else. This one thing has now captured, like I did bad stuff and killed evil men, and then I also have taken lives of innocents in doing so. And so it's not just me remembering killing, people who were in the game, whether they're bad or evil. I also remember taking the lives of the innocent person, which, a lot of, I think, evil people would never remember that part. They would
Right.
remember, well, I had a mission and I succeeded. I killed this people. Oh yeah, I also happened to kill 30 people getting there, but who cares? And
Right.
for him, it's those other people are still there haunting him. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, and
I
he
love it.
he remembers them all. Like because like in Civil War, Tony's like, "Do you even remember them?" And he's like, "I remember every single one," or whatever. So
Yeah, that line scared me before, and it hits even harder now. But God,
it's
Civil War
just
is one of my favorites.
super dark, like you said, like even more dark than I was really giving it credit for. Just to think of that, like throughout the decades, he was just
106 years.
getting up and doing some really murder crazy shit, and then immediately back to the ice. Like, yikes.
I, I have a night where I get too wild and I embarrass myself. I don't go out for 6 months. I stay in and I regain my humanity,
Right.
dignity, and pride. And he's out here just continuously having the worst night of his life over and over and over and over and over and over. And then it's just like when he wakes up and he's like, I'm trying to remember my past life. For him to even get back to Steve Rogers, he's got to go through, decades of horrible deeds.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
oh my God. Poor, poor man. One thing I also like is we got to stop probably calling him Winter Soldier after this, right? I thought it was weird it was even called the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I thought it might be called that after more, brainstorming because we'll never call them that again after this.
That's a good theory. I like that. uh, what does he say?
I feel like,
Go ahead.
well, go ahead. I was gonna say White Wolf. I don't know if that's gonna stick, but I don't really know what Falcon could be called except for maybe the new Captain America at the end, which would be really
Yeah,
exciting for me.
that's what I was thinking. If that he would be the new captain. I mean, it's seemingly where this show's lining up all its dominoes to lead us, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, and I think it would take a lot of pressure off movies for him to just have this whole story and 6 episode arc to becoming Captain America, rather than in a movie where a bunch of other stuff's going to be going on. They
He
need
just,
to
yeah, like,
establish like, yeah, he was
he,
Cap, but he
mm,
didn't pick it up immediately. It just wouldn't have
yeah.
been as
It's,
as good.
that's what's
So
great
this is going
about
to be exciting.
these Disney Plus shows, man. We can get like these moments that like need room to breathe. Like imagine WandaVision as just a movie. Like, how on earth could they have done it? So
Yeah,
like,
no, no chance,
so,
not at all.
I'm just, yeah, I'm super excited for this. Like, what I'm assuming is his arc to getting the mantle. Um,
Yeah, we obviously could be completely
yeah,
of them could be like dead at the end. Like maybe the
that'd be
Falcon
crazy.
sacrifices his life,
Oh
and
man.
then Bucky picks up the shield because Rhodey's there, and he's like, "Don't make the same
Oh,
mistake Sam did. This is your shield." And then he'd be like, "You think so?" He'd be like, "I don't know. I'm Mephisto in disguise."
I'm out.
Um, this one though, more so than the other show, has been way more forthcoming. I feel like about what it is. And I don't
Yeah.
think I've heard it described this way, but because of the synopsises I've seen and read, what I like to view it as like a buddy cop movie.
Oh yeah, for
About to
sure.
have an adventure, just them two that goes around the world, I guess, chasing these flag smashers and what's to come. But I'm just so excited. Like, I think they have really good chemistry. I can't wait to get them back on this on like the same screen together. But um I I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I hope that they stay together, but I just know that there's gonna probably be more conflict there, and not with each other necessarily, but just something else bad happening.
Yeah,
MCU is lighthearted and as fun as it can be, can makes me cry all the time. So
for
sad
show.
stuff can easily still interject, like him and his sister. We're having a great time. Everything's good. Sam kind of comes home to play superhero at home, but then they go to the bank. We watch one of the most cringiest scenes ever. I felt like I was watching The Office again with this guy.
Can I get a
And
selfie?
yeah, God. After everything else that got said, um, just again, I love that I love that Marvel does that. And this isn't necessarily even, it is sad, of course it's sad, but it's even more like a holding a mirror up to the reality of the world that we're even living in and saying like, look, even in our world, look at how this is still happening. And it kind of made me think in the first like half a second that it was happening, I was like, dude, I didn't know Sam had it like that. Like I didn't know everyone knew who the Falcon was. Like
Yeah,
I mean, I guess to me the biggest time he would have been known would have been as a war criminal,
yeah, that's what I was gonna
not
say
as a
too.
hero.
Yeah,
So it's kind of weird to me that he thought this was going to bring him all this cachet. And then when he showed up and everyone knew him, I was like, oh, okay, I'm just an idiot. Everybody knows him. This is definitely gonna work. And then after their interaction, I was just like, oh my gosh. And I think Spellman, the creator, really nailed that scene. I thought it was awesome and powerful. The other thing I did catch though is like when they're walking out, she was like, he didn't even know Daddy. Daddy was a giant around here. I mean, definitely typical something would say about their own father, but it also made me think like, who is their dad? Is their dad someone famous from the comics? I don't know.
oh, that's
I
interesting.
never go look these things up. I just think I'll ask Will later on before we scream together.
Yeah, I don't know too much about his comic backstory either, so I'm not sure if their dad is someone or not. Um,
Hmm.
I do know
Debatable.
I can't remember what it was, but they changed Sam's backstory to be he used to be from somewhere else, and the MCU he's from
New
Louisiana, so I
Orleans.
don't remember where it used to be, but that might give us a clue. But bro, what? Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Hold on. I was gonna say what you were talking about, like Sam getting the Cap mantle potentially, and like where this stuff could go. And you said that what if Sam dies and Bucky gets the mantle? That got me thinking, like, all right, well, probably Sam's getting it right, but if this whole arc for Bucky is about like forgiving himself and getting forgiveness from others, and accepting himself basically, like where does it go from there? Which got me thinking like maybe Bucky dies because like where else can his story really go after this type of arc if he's not going to be the next Captain America?
Yeah, maybe he saves Sam, or like there's a moment where one of them's got to go do this and the other one's got to go take on the big bad, and the Falcon's like having a moment, like real quick and understood that he's like, all right, I'm gonna sacrifice, and then before he can even finish it, maybe Bucky's like, I've been waiting for this moment my entire life, ever
Yeah,
since I've been woken up and had my brain back. This is
like
what I
his
need to do,
shot at
and
redemption.
maybe not even have those words. Kind of a moment of the Soul Stone where you had two people trying to make that
Oh yeah,
sacrifice,
that was cool.
um, in a similar way, probably not as drawn out, but in a similar way, maybe he does something and it lets the Falcon go to the big fight, maybe gets his ass kicked a little bit, and then he's like, "Oh, I can't believe your friends thought you could be the next Captain America." And I don't know why all my villains sound that way. I definitely should find another voice probably. But I do think the guy's like gonna be Russian. I feel like, right? It's
uh, Zemo, Baron Zemo.
Zemo. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Well, he's
something
Sokovian,
Russian,
but that's like
Soviet.
basically
Oh, yeah, that kind of
Russian.
accent. But so yeah, I think then Sam could be like, "Yo, you don't know me. I'm from New Orleans. I've been, born to kick your ass. And then kick his ass and then maybe do like a cool cat move at the end. After he kicks his ass, total action movie. They're on a boat, maybe. Stuff's on fire. Sam walks by like the unconscious bad guy and like kicks the shield up to himself
Oh.
and like grabs it and then is like peace and then jumps off, gets out of there, leaves the guy to blow up on the boat. But the other what I don't think we talked about it, but I wanted to ask you about it, the Torres guy.
Oh, right, right, right. That's right. Sorry, I got sidetracked.
It's another example.
So
I
he
don't know anything about him. They're giving him a name. He beat up that cop for a second, so I felt like that was establishing like,
he's got
ooh,
some
this guy's got
moves.
some moves.
Yeah.
And then the one dude kicked the cop, so you were like, oh, that guy's got moves too. And then they faced off, and sure enough, the other dude definitely whooped Torres's ass pretty quick.
Um. Well, more on that dude in a second, but I won't avoid your question the second time. But Torres, there is a guy Torres in the comics, which interesting enough, he takes up the mantle of the Falcon when Falcon becomes Cap.
That seems so odd to me.
Wait, but what's also
Again, you go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say in the comics, and here's I haven't read these comics. I just have seen this in different discussions and stuff, so I could be wrong. But in the comics, Torres like gets experimented on and like actually has like wings and uh has like a pet hawk or falcon, which also Sam Falcon in the comics has a actual real pet as well. Red Wing is like a real animal, where in this they made it that little gadget thing.
Yeah, I don't like the way you just addressed it. Red Wing. He's not a little gadget thing.
Well,
Total
no,
badass.
I think it's dope, and it was actually cool is that like it seemingly has AI. I want to say kind of like similar to Jarvis or something because he like talks
Yeah,
to it. So that was
yeah.
cool.
I feel like that's really important for those scenes, when they're flying around like that, to be able to show their face and then have
Yeah.
someone else tell the audience like, it appears they're catching up to you, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, hit max boosters, and all that makes way more sense. They can cut out and show what's going on, but yeah, I mean, it would have been cool if he had some kind of cool AI that he got from Tony.
I mean, I'm guessing that's
Uh,
probably what it is, though, right?
yeah, well, I don't like you guessing. I want to know.
Well, I mean, I don't think we're supposed to know at this point. But yeah, Torres in the comics like takes up the Falcon mantle. So be interesting to see if like this is the same character or not, if that's what they plan on doing. I mean, they definitely seem to be setting him up as like his buddy, but it almost makes me wonder if it's like a bait and switch, and he might even be like kind of circling back earlier to what I was saying about like if the military was trying to sabotage Sam, that maybe Torres is even like kind of in on that as well. That maybe he's not a bad guy, but like maybe he's not the ally we think he is, type of thing.
I don't like that idea. So
All right,
I'm
well,
on a different boat. I don't know
it's
what
been
boat
fun,
I'm
man.
on, but I'm not on that one.
That's fair.
I
That's
do
fair.
like the idea that the whole thing was a setup. I feel like Torres could be the guy who might. I guess this might feed into a little of what you're saying, but I could see Torres being like, "Yeah, well, Sam, they wanted you to fail that mission anyways," and he'll be like, "What?" He'll be like, "Yeah, Sam. I mean, did you not think it was suspicious, man? Blah 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 blah." And then Sam will be like, "Oh man, I don't know." But I don't know, just because Torres reached out. And then an interesting thing there, and we don't have to go here yet, but I want to say it out loud so you can help remind me. But the exchange when Torres gets back to Sam and he's like, "You don't think it could be," and he's like, "Hey,
Oh yeah,
I'll get back to you."
yeah, yeah.
Don't say that out loud. The audience is not ready to hear you yet. And it's like, "Oh, okay. What was that? I
We'll
want
get
to
back to
know."
this in episode 4.
Team, give me 14 episodes, please. Um. But yeah, I feel like just even that conversation lets me know they kind of have like a bro down low, trust each other thing, which doesn't mean he can't be evil. But I'm not getting those
Right, right.
Mysterio vibes
And
from him.
again, not even that he's evil, but and not even that I think this is what's happening. I'm just throwing out like
Yeah, I know you. I know you. Just
possibility, you
throwing it
know.
all out there.
I'm throwing it all out there, so whichever one's right, I can grab onto
Yeah,
that one and be like, I knew it from day
I
one.
said that one time. Run the
On the
tape.
tape.
But what about this guy? Is his name Flag Smasher?
Oh, okay. The guy that beat Torres up.
Yeah,
See, I don't. So Flag Smasher
it's a group, right?
in in this, it's seemingly a group like the Flag Smashers. They're like an organization, right? In the
And this guy's
comics,
the leader.
there was just a Flag Smasher, and he was like a bad guy. So there wasn't really like this group. So I don't know. I think, and this is like this hasn't happened in the show, so like if anyone cares, spoilers from like just information about the show, but I think the leader of the Flag Smashers is a girl that I forget the actress's name, but I think she's supposed to be the like the leader. So
The
like
one that
the
handed out the mask.
did we see who that was? Where they were wearing a mask, right?
But it was a girl.
Oh, I
She
I
had long hair.
I didn't even notice. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. I
There
just
you
didn't
have it,
pick up
ladies and
on that.
gentlemen. My friend here doesn't even see sex. He's just like, here's a person handing out masks.
That's right.
Who's to say? Who's to
Who is to
say?
say?
Could be a guy with long hair, and now I feel foolish. Now I feel like a fool. Now I feel like I'm painting people into boxes.
How dare you?
Man, we can edit that out though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We'll clean that up in post.
Okay, good,
Um,
because I don't want to be that guy. I was already going questionable with my accents, which I do feel like fit. I'm just not good at accents, and if Sokovia is a real place, I don't know the accent if so.
well,
I have to
apparently
just
neither
do
does
Russian.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, nice. Except
Thanks.
don't come at the actors like that. They
All
have
right.
tough jobs. Let's
I
not
know.
be the internet.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um,
Also, your lighting's just better than mine, so I have to get a new light. It's been bothering me this whole time.
it's not too
Although
bad.
now I feel angelic, like the light's coming down and I'm about to be beamed up.
It looks like you're in space out there with Nick Fury on the sword
Yeah,
base.
reporting live. I can confirm Cap is not here, but one rager of a party is. Nick Fury don't sleep. Think about the alien hangover cures they must have.
Well, hopefully.
They laugh at us when we're like, I'm hungover. They're like, what? Y'all haven't figured out hangovers
Primitive
yet?
Earthling.
Although I genuinely think all alien life has to come by and look at us and think, oh man, these people are really far behind. I don't want to go down there and interact with a lot of what they have going on. Let's just keep on moving.
We're just like one of those drive-by zoos, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dang it. I just realized I had my bat. Yeah. I haven't been holding it, but I want to hold this bat because this is our first thing that we're doing here for Scream Fix, and the person who would have ever inspired me to do this is Jalen Rose, and he carries a bat, so I'm gonna have this bat a lot, but I
Okay.
haven't had it for most of this episode. I guarantee to break something, if not the bat itself, by the end of this. It's a St. Louis Cardinals bat. That way, no one has to feel like they need to freeze frame this perfect.
Freeze frame.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
word I'm making up as I speak.
what?
I
Wait, where were we? I forgot what we were talking about.
went off on this bat.
Um. Okay, I don't know if this was it, but this is I remembered something. The guy
Good.
the
Good enough.
super Flag Smasher. Let's just call him that, even though I don't think he's the leader or anything. But for lack of a better thing to call him at this juncture, we'll call him Flag Smasher. Do you think, and this might even be what Torres and Sam were going to talk about before Sam was like, "We'll talk about it later." Do you think? Do you think he has like super soldier serum, like kind of like Cap and Bucky? Because like he obviously has superhuman abilities of some sort to be able to toss people around like he was. And if it was super
Did you at all,
soldier,
did you at all feel like that there might have been something mechanical on his legs that allowed him to do that?
I did not think that, but I wasn't like that's interesting. Did I want to kind of
I
go
had a,
back and
s-
look at
I
it
had
now?
like I had a sound of sounds. I don't know if it was a sound effect or multiple together that happened that made me feel like that wasn't just a human kicking with his leg, and that
Hmm.
maybe there was some kind of apparatus on him that he was wearing underneath his garb that
Yeah.
allowed him to jump out of the building and then blast kick someone away. Um, Man, I really like is there a list somewhere or do you know this off the top of your head? If you do, well done, sir. But of like a list of people in the MCU that have the serum. There's
Uh,
so because we got Bucky and Captain America. Are there other people that are supposedly
like
going to have it moving forward?
like in the
Or
MCU that we know of, or just like ever in the comics?
in general in the MCU? Like, is that serum shared over and over and over and over? Because I would have thought no.
I know it's so like ever since Captain America, like lots of people have been trying to recreate it, you know? And even in Winter Soldier, when Bucky goes and kills the Starks, that's what he retrieves from their trunk is like five, what are those, like IV bags of super soldier
Yeah,
serum. So like it
and then Zemo
exists.
kills those guys.
Right. So Zemo killed all those dudes, but it could stand to reason that like maybe there are others that weren't there that are out there in the world. Or also, do you remember Thunderbolt Ross from the Hulk movie?
Thunderbolt Ross from the
He's
Hulk
also
movie.
from he's in he's in Avengers and he's also in Civil War. He's like
And
the
he's at the funeral, right?
yeah, he's the guy that is like gives them the Sokovian Accords in Civil
Yeah,
War. He's like the
yeah, I got
kind
you.
of you
He's
know
got a mustache.
yeah, the kind of shady military guy.
Kind of you're jealous of, like me. Can't even grow a beard.
Well, he is. I know that he's also been like trying to recreate that. So I think it is not that we'll 100% guaranteed to get more people with that in the MCU, but like I think it's a possibility. So I mean, especially given the story that this is probably telling, you know, like we don't have to go there yet since it was at the end of the ep, but like does the new Captain America like surely he has enhanced abilities of some sort, right? Like surely he's not just a dude. I don't
I thought he
know.
might just be a dude.
You think so? I don't know either. I just
I know the most surface level about that guy in general, but I didn't get anything about him being someone that had enhanced abilities from what I read about him.
mm,
I heard that he like went toe to toe with Captain America a bunch in the comics and then turned his act around and ended up being a good guy and then eventually taking on the mantle. But one thing I did see in a Spellman short interview, might have even just been a Twitter clip talking about it, but he said they really died down a lot of the source content that they enjoyed for that character. So he was like, comic book lovers beware. You know, we're not gonna get a lot of this or that because we wanted it to. You know, honestly, it sounded like they wanted the audience to just be able to accept the fact that he is now Captain America. So they had to make him somewhat redeeming
hmm,
so that the audience would believe that this man could even pick up the shield or would have been the choice to pick up the shield. So a lot less of his hangups and other things I think are going to be shared. But I do think
interesting.
that, yeah, I do think that, eh, and I mean, so if he's talking about it and I'm watching it, is it a spoiler? I don't know, but I don't know if I want to say much more than that. But he said a few more things that I thought were probably said with purpose and to the point of me saying earlier, I thought WandaVision didn't do a very good job of controlling their story and expectations. I felt like he was really trying to let people know, like, this person's gonna be I'm choosing this word, watered down version of what the comics portrays this guy as. Because I think he's pretty much a not great person in the comics at all. And I think in this, it'll probably be less in your face. And again, I don't know if I want to say everything that he shared because I don't want to ruin anything for folks who don't like that stuff or don't go read that stuff so that they can be surprised.
Yeah, well, I think you should just say it, you know. We should just throw it all
Okay,
out there. If nobody wants to hear that, this is their warning to cut out for the next minute. But I'm
okay,
interested.
okay. um, Again, they just said that he was gonna be more likable. Really, is all that it's gonna be, and I think it's gonna be more driven of instead of him being an asshole outwardly, it's gonna be more about feeling bad. Like they're gonna do a better job of explaining away a lot of his behavior through PTSD of war. So,
Okay,
he's
interesting.
not a bad guy. He's suffering PTSD, which as I think in the comics it seems like he was probably suffering PTSD, but he was also not a good guy, maybe even a bit, racist and all this,
Yeah,
stuff
like
that I think that they're gonna let they're gonna let all that kind of come through the feelings of Sam. And I think he even says, Sam's gonna take on a lot of that lifting instead and share a lot of the things he felt or that he feels. Eventually, I think he breaks down and gets real honest with himself on screen, so the audience can hear it as well. And it's going to be more Sam driving that boat of stuff rather than using this other guy as the mechanism. He's just going to be
yeah,
like an example of something Sam feels upset about, rather than letting that guy own the conversation and have it through that white guy.
right.
I don't think they want the world to hate him.
Interesting.
And I
Which
think it might be because in the comics he ends up being a good guy. And I think if they want to do that in the MCU, they're just acutely aware of, okay, well, no one will ever forgive him if we paint him, as A, B, and C. So let's focus on that other thing that can kind of better, explain away his actions and be more acceptable. And so that's kind of what he said. And it made me think, a lot more about it. Because, I mean, obviously, uh, even with the Flag Smashers, I mean, how perfect is that with kind of falling in line with nationalism and all that kind of stuff and wanting to do away with the flags and stuff. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be really well done. I'm excited to see what it does, but I don't know if he can save me personally. I hate the guy. I don't think he looks good in the suit. I feel like they picked Wyatt because they knew I'd say that. And the character or actor Wyatt, they had picked him long ago. He's one of the pieces that has been plugged in for a while to
really.
play this role. Yeah, apparently they were even considering, and I shouldn't say this because this was straight off Twitter, so this could be wrong, but apparently he was even considered for getting other cameos in some of these other movies. Like that's how long they've known they wanted him to do that. So,
Hmm.
in the background, him walk by, have a line of dialogue, kind of like Marvel does or something, but didn't end up doing it. But so I think because again they have those kind of plans for this guy, they don't want us to hate him to the degree you might have hated him in the comics. And
Yeah.
again, guys, I say all that having never read the comics. Sourcing that Spellman interview, and then some Twitter, which I don't even like saying out loud. That's never where you want to find your sources.
Hey, that's the day we live in, though. But I mean,
Yeah,
I think at least like from what we've seen so far, which is 5 seconds of that dude, I think everyone hates him. And like you're almost like he's got like the punchable face almost, and nothing against Wyatt Russell, but like it just looked wrong in that suit. But I like that. I like that the director was saying that because it just sounds like they're gonna make him 3 dimensional. Like yeah, like it'd be easy to just make him like a pure hated character, but it'll be much more
douchebag.
interesting
Yeah,
if we see like sides we can like identify with or like this makes sense. But I don't know. That kind of excites me if he's going to be more than just like the person we're supposed to hate. Like
yeah.
that's not as
I think
interesting.
that.
So
Yep, and I think that was definitely what he was trying to share. Is like, hey, I'm not bringing this guy in to be the anti-Captain America, which he kind of just was because he used to challenge Cap, and they literally battled out for multiple runs of the comic series. So I think he was just clear to be like, that's not who we're getting here. And a lot of those things they used to fight about are going to fall more on Sam's shoulders to talk about in this series. And that made me more excited too. I was like, damn, so, I think it would be really powerful to have Sam say some of the things, on his mind and get real with the audience and
yeah,
stuff. I already thought it was super cool that they had two of their African American black superheroes together sharing a scene, nobody else talking through it all, talking about picking it up, talking about that
yeah,
it is his shield and saying he doesn't feel ready to do that. And I saw a short clip of Sam in an interview, Anthony Mackie, and he was saying, why would Sam feel comfortable picking up and representing a country who's never represented for him, and then immediately after giving up the shield, going somewhere and feeling that to the 10 millionth degree in the bank, where he's like, "Yeah, this is
Yeah.
why I didn't want to be Captain America. You guys won't even give me a fucking loan." And part of my language, I don't know if we're cussing on here. I probably already have
It's
five
fine.
times, but you know, I like that, and that excites me as well. We should probably talk about Bucky more since he's my favorite, anyways. Like, let's see. I thought the three rules were really poignant. I'd like if they were maybe to come up again.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
maybe
They're coming
Anthony
up.
Mackie meets the therapist, and she's like, now he has these three rules he needs to follow, and he's like, oh, tell me these rules right now. And then he's like screaming out like rule number one at him and stuff. But
I could see
you
that.
know, the other thing I wanted to ask you about is why do you think he's in therapy? Just to be in therapy? Because the fact that he was getting nervous about her writing, it kind of felt like to me, maybe he was doing this so he could get reinstated into some kind of active duty.
Well, they kind of had a line that explained it. It was a condition of his pardon that he had to go to therapy.
Oh, see, I missed that both times. Be right back.
But I love
Dang,
it.
that answers so many questions. I really liked her. I thought she could be another one of those like reoccurring side characters in the MCU. You know, someone else needs to go see a therapist and they go see her, maybe even an after credits scene. And then he's like, listen, I want to be honest with you, but you hadn't heard anything like I gotta tell you. Like maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
It's Michael Pena or something.
Dude, I
And
would
she's like, I've fucked with the Winter Soldier, bro. You're not scaring me.
I would love a Disney Plus series where just every episode was just 30 minutes with the therapist with different characters. Like I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That reminds me of that really great show. And I know shows are really great, not just when I like them, but my parents do. And my
Mm.
mom was obsessed with this.
I think I know what you're talking about. If it's about like therapy, it was it even like, it was I might have been called In Therapy
Might
or
be
something
called
like that.
Therapy or something. Yeah. Was it Julia Roberts that's in it or
Oh,
no?
okay, no, I know what you're talking about now. That was
And it was a podcast originally, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. What was that called? It
Oh,
was like
I
a
don't know, but
HBO
that was
special or something,
good.
like a mini series.
I don't know if it was HBO, but maybe actually,
It
yeah.
was
No,
one
I
of
think it's
those.
Amazon Prime.
Oh,
It
okay,
was
yeah, it's just
Amazon
one of
Prime.
those streaming services.
Yeah, and I don't think it was Julia Roberts, but
No,
it
it
was
was Julia
someone.
Roberts. It was Julia
It
Roberts.
was Julia
Mhm.
Roberts. Nailed it. Not going back, man. That was so good. That was so good. Julia Roberts does not get the love that she deserves. She's good in like literally
I mean,
everything.
she was like the biggest movie star on the
Oh, watch your
planet.
next words, bro.
No, I'm saying I think
Watch your next words.
she does get the recognition. She's just kind of we're kind of like past her heyday, but like she was it
No,
back in the day.
no. Here's all I'll say. People knew who she was and people loved her. That's not to me giving her her props and true recognition of how talented she actually is.
I think she was
I
a
think we just always say, "Oh, leading women, she's so beautiful. No one ever looks like her, so that's why she's a leading woman."
no.
There are 5 billion people on the planet. There are plenty of people who are good looking. Julia Roberts is way beyond being a beautiful face to look
All
at.
right, well,
She's
I
got
never
mad
said that.
skills. I quit. Just kidding.
I was
You
just
just
saying I think she was like the
this
biggest
is
movie
this
star on
is
the
a topic
planet.
I have. I get upset and scream about this, but I won't scream right now. We're screaming later.
That show was called
Um,
Homecoming, by the way. I looked it up.
Homecoming. There it is. There it is.
That was a good
Yeah,
show.
that show is good. Anybody listening, forget the show. Falcon Winter Soldier. Go watch
Yeah.
Homecoming.
Is it?
God,
I guess there's not going to be like a season two of that because that was a while ago, right? And I never heard anything else
I
about
think
it.
there is a season two. It might even already be out, or
Well, all right then.
COVID might have messed it up. But I don't think it's gonna be Julia Roberts again.
Oh,
But
interesting.
man, that was so good. God, love good stuff. That was awesome. Some of the other things I loved about Sam's time was the flip phone. That was awesome.
Wait,
He
the
had a
flip
flip
phone.
phone just like Cap has a flip phone. She asked for his phone, you know?
Oh, you mean
Hey,
Bucky?
let me
You mean
see your
Bucky?
phone. Oh, what did I
You
say?
said Sam, so I was
I'll
confused.
kill you. I'll kill myself and then I'll kill you. Don't ask me how. But yeah, no, you're right. I meant Bucky. I love Bucky. It's the fact that he has a flip phone.
Yeah,
Um,
man out of
and then I
time.
think it's Yeah, exactly. I think it's even cooler that she like puts quickly into the synopsis of you're 106 years old and you have no friends. I was like, all right, setting the stage. This is where Bucky's at right now. Super alone in the world, much like we saw Cap when he
Yep.
was like fighting in the gym by himself, and Samuel L. came through and was like, "Yo, time for the next battle," and he's like, "Okay."
And
um,
they both have little notebooks of lists. Now they're very vastly
they're very
different
different
lists,
lists.
but both of them. But I still think
He
that's a
probably got that
parallel.
idea from him.
I still think that's a parallel.
Um, the other thing, yeah, definitely. The other thing, oh man, Sam even told Cap what to put on the list. So Sam might even tell Bucky. There might be a line of dialogue about that, dude. You're smart. You're so smart. The one thing I also really, since you are so smart, wanted to ask you about, and I thought this might be fun, is 10 names on the phone. She's like, there's not even 10 names in here.
Oh,
Uh, who do
who
you
are they?
think is on Bucky's, yeah, speed dial contact list?
Oh man, I don't know. Obviously Sam. I mean,
Yeah, we know Sam, and then the therapist.
okay. I mean, I feel like even though he's gone, probably Steve. I mean, he probably still
That
has
was what I
Steve's
was wondering.
number.
I doubt that Bucky strikes me as a guy to go delete numbers out,
Yeah.
so Sam's probably there.
I
I
was,
was thinking someone in Wakanda, right?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Probably like that's probably most of them, honestly.
Shuri?
Cherie, I would say probably uh T'Challa. Um, hmm.
Do you, I really think he probably even has more of a relationship with Suri than T'Challa, right? Just because
Yeah.
he's probably always going around being king and everything, and then Shuri's the one who's been there helping him, coaxing him through the process. And
Yeah.
again, they called him the White Wolf, which I hope. I like that.
Yeah,
Give me
that's
some more
that's
of that.
cool.
The other thing that I wanted to ask is we haven't seen his arm yet. Do you think it's the Black
Oh
Panther
yeah, we
arm? It
haven't.
definitely would be.
Yeah, I
All right.
think so.
Yeah, okay. Um, do you
Which
think who else could be on there? Who else was on Team
um
Cap? Ant-Man? You think
Hawkeye,
Ant-Man could have been?
Ant-Man. I don't know if they'd be on the phone, but they were on Team Cap. Uh
I could see Hawkeye definitely being on there.
yeah, I mean, I mean, I guess it would have to be those
Wanda?
people because who else would it even be?
What about one of my favorites, Agent Carter, or her nephew,
Yeah,
something or another.
I feel like
The
that's
girl from Revenge.
yeah,
That's how I know.
that's obviously coming, but I don't know if he knows her yet.
I feel I'm gonna throw her on there. I'm just writing down all my guesses in case I ever meet him. I can be like, yo, who was on the phone?
I wonder if like they're gonna. You think there's gonna be any type of like romance pursued there?
Yeah, probably. Shout out Revenge real quick though, because I said it. That's another good show. Romantic, that would be kind of weird, but and he was already kind of flirting with the bartender, which
Yeah,
I did
but
think was funny because like it's like we're kind of talking about the parallels to Captain America, but like he's now in more of the Captain America area, so to speak, of being nervous with women. And the big thing from Captain America, the first Avengers, when they're in their time period, is taking girls out and dancing. And Bucky's real smooth, and so like I thought it was cute that he said, "There's a dance to these things. I
yeah,
haven't been dancing since 1943. I'm rusty."
I
And it's
liked
like,
that.
ah,
I liked that. Seemingly they have like I mean, unless she was just all tongue in cheek with him, which I don't think was the case. Like she doesn't know who he is. Which, uh,
the Asian bartender.
yeah. Sorry, I kind of jumped around there, but yeah, that because
I couldn't remember her name. I wish I could remember her name.
yeah,
So
I
I'll
can't
just call
either.
her bartender. Actually, I don't know why I have to say that she's Asian, but
But he did kind of blow it.
yeah,
He just got up from the table and left.
yeah, that wasn't the
I
best.
mean, I she's gonna continue to be in it, but so I'm sure like that probably is the better choice for a potential romance. But I mean, I don't know. I guess depending on how it shakes out with the old guy, and if he tells him the truth, that might burn that bridge. I don't see how that goes well. Like I don't see. any scenario where he like is honest in that like.
Do you see a scenario where the bartender's a plant and is there to
Ooh.
kill him?
So originally, before, and we watched this together, as you already pointed out, but the fact that he killed the old man's son, that was I didn't even see that coming, but you did. So what I was gonna say is, before that was revealed, part of me, the cynical part of me, was like, I wonder if the old man slash this bartender, both of them, one or the other, doesn't really matter, knows who he is and is like trying to manipulate him and use him to like get him to do something for them, which doesn't make sense now. But before we found out that that guy's son was the one that died, I thought he maybe wasn't even telling Bucky about how his son was murdered and like he needed to figure out why, as to like try to get Bucky to go get revenge for his son.
On himself. Bucky, I need you to go use your powers to find out who did this. I know who you are. And be like, oh, if you know who I am, I might as well go ahead and tell you I did this.
Right. So obviously it
Um,
doesn't make sense. But all that to say is that if you thought that she might be like a plant, is that I did kind of have sort of inklings of those vibes. I don't really think that's the case, but I could see it.
I'm looking for something to drive Bucky back to Sam. And I'm always trying to find the story that makes sense. And then I hate that I know that it's 6 episodes, but I keep that in mind and I'm trying to figure that out. And I feel like there's got to be something that drives Bucky back to Sam. And one of the things I think it could be is through the old man. And through the old man in two different ways.
Okay.
The old man, to your point, ends up being evil. So maybe that girl and the old man are evil. So the son that was over there working,
I
like to
don't
your
think the
point,
old man's evil. Just want to throw that out there.
okay,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but
But
yeah.
so he's aware that his son was over there not working a consulting project, but is a part of a larger organization. And he got that his son the job because he used to be a part of that same criminal organization. And the
Oh.
bartender is a part of that criminal organization. So they're not blind to that their son or his son was over there messed up doing messed up stuff.
Wait,
So then
pause
when
real
they find
quick.
out, okay.
Sorry, just because that I didn't even think about this, and this is interesting to me. Do you think his son was like part of something shady, and that's why he was there, or that was a wrong place, wrong time type of thing?
Well, so it was a consulting thing, and they were all like, "Last call at the barge. Do you want to go?" And then he just was headed up to a different room, and then saw what happened after that guy got choked out through the wall and like walked into that corridor. So I don't know, but I do feel like that's a possibility that could happen. And so then when Bucky confesses, instead of, getting yelled at or being mean to or having him accept him and love him, we get the third option of he plays coy, signals for somebody else. Bucky picks up on it. He's like, "Did you just do a silent alarm?" And then that chick jumps in and
Mm.
they try to kill him, and they're like, "Yeah, we heard you were paying people visits. We thought you might come visit this man." Because they'd be like, "We didn't think you thought he was innocent. We figured you thought, you knew he was evil."
Yeah.
I thought that could be one mechanism that he'd be like, "Man, this world's fucked up. I need to go surround myself with people I know are good rather than like making friends with people I've killed." Or this is more likely, and it ties into a whole nother question for you. But that guy, I don't believe people ever do anything waste film on stuff that isn't, it's purposeless. Everything has a purpose, whether
Yeah.
it's to even throw you off. But that one guy that's fighting with the older man, and gives his full name. He's like, "Yo, I'm unique.
Yeah. Yeah. Unique.
Remember it, cause you unique." I don't know if that's another character, but I could see before you ruin this theory for me potentially with more information, but if he was like kind of from something and is kind of a bad guy or at least an anti-hero vigilante type or something, and they had him and the old man get into it again, and he's like a part of a group, and the group pushes too hard, and the old man then dies, and then Bucky comes and finds him dead before he gets to apologize. So then he tracks down Unique and his
Ooh.
gang and just murders all of them, and then it's just sitting there being like, I'm not doing well on my own at this. I need help. I'm gonna go work with Sam. I'm gonna take Sam up on his offer,
Okay.
and leave, and then maybe, do something and go apologize to the bartender and say, "Hey, we can't be together. I'm this horrible person. I really wish I could have told this to him. I didn't work up the courage long enough, and now he's dead. So I really want to now say it to you." Says it to her, and she's like, "Oh my God, yeah, we can never be together." And then he moves on, and I say all that to say, unless something wraps up in that storyline and eliminates all this stuff, I can't see him and Carter having a relationship because he already has started flirting with this other girl. Now, again, from the other movies and installations, we know he's kind of a playboy, so it wouldn't necessarily mean they couldn't be together.
Yeah,
But I mean, her being with either one would have to be really well done because it would just feel weird. Like they watched those two kiss and they both were in the car being like, haha, yeah, go Cap.
true.
And then they're just gonna go kiss her after.
Yeah, but then he went and got with
Horrible
her
feelings.
aunt, so I mean, anything's fair game, right?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's like we're trying to marry into the family, yo. But mm,
Yeah, it is. I do wonder how they're gonna meet up, but so we already know that via the therapist that Sam's been reaching out to him. So I guess Sam is,
yeah,
even though they've kind of got that like odd couple, kind of like hate, quote unquote, hate each other mentality. He obviously is like, they're both really good friends with Cap. So maybe even Cap was like, hey, look out for him or something, before he left. But I wonder if even this new Captain America might spur Bucky to reach out and be like, yo, what the hell? Like, I thought, you're supposed to have that shield, or like, maybe that was what causes him to reach out. I don't know. I am interested to see
mm.
what it is, though.
Do you
And
think at all that Sam could be reaching out to get advice on what to do with the shield, and then Bucky didn't even address it or go to him? So then when Bucky comes back, Sam's like, "Dude, I tried to talk to you, so now that you're here upset that I gave the shield away, like f you. I wanted to have this conversation months ago, and you wouldn't show up to have it."
yeah, I could see that for sure.
But probably best not for us to guess how awesome of what they're gonna do. It'll be
Well,
infinitely
what
better
if?
when we come up. Yeah. Do you think in episode 4 they might play chess? It's really a big deal nowadays. Everyone loves
That is
chess.
true. Chess is having like a renaissance.
I know I love chess. I've always loved chess. All state chess high school. What up? No, wait, I wasn't all state. We won state. I actually lost the only match I did for that team.
An important part of the team, regardless.
Yeah. Seriously though, they had to have someone go, so I went and lost instantly. And then shout out Florian, shout out Gordon Johnston. Those guys went in there and like beat 4 people in a row, along with some other people. I want to say maybe Curtis Goolsby was in on it.
Nice.
But my soccer team coach did it, and so that was the only reason why I ever even did it the one day I did. I did it during X period because I'm always tardy, so I didn't get lunch off. I had to do X period somewhere, so I'd sign out and go to chess club, and I stayed there and played chess or Risk. So if you didn't think I was a nerd before, now you know otherwise. I don't have much else for this though. I do feel like I've got a couple good screams in me. I know we only need one, but going through my notes, I think we covered a lot of it all.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Let me see if there's.
You think we
The,
hear about Sword at all?
um. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I don't.
So theoretically, WandaVisions has already happened. So
Right.
Falcon and Winter Soldier could just meet up and be like, "Yo, did you hear about Wanda? Yeah, that was crazy."
That would be interesting. Although,
Yeah, and if they didn't hear about it, if they did hear about it, like, why are they not looking for her? Or are they like respecting her wishes, maybe? Or does someone know where she went? I don't understand that.
I bet they maybe didn't hear about it only because originally, before Corona and stuff, this show was supposed to come out first. So I don't think they would have like spoiled anything that like the audience hadn't seen yet. Like maybe there would just be like a one-off line, like you hear about
This
Wanda?
show was supposed to come out before
Yeah,
WandaVision?
this was supposed to be the first Disney Plus show.
Oh, okay. The other day I went and looked, and when I had, which this was months ago, so could it be even higher? It was during WandaVision though, and I was like, all right, we're getting our first thing post all the other stuff that kind of wrapped up. And if it wasn't for Corona, we'd be like on our sixth
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
And so it's just like, dang,
Yeah.
Marvel was steady ready to flood us up. And now, hopefully, it's still going to be the same way here moving forward.
Yeah, I think the worst part is that you know,
Oh no.
without, well, I won't really get into spoilers, but with WandaVision, how that ended, we would have gotten Doctor Strange 2 like 2 months later, which would have been so nice. And now we have to wait like over a year to get like the next part of that story.
Yeah,
So that's what bummed
that
me out.
infuriates me.
But good
Edit
news
that out.
is that if you count, like, you know how we got that behind the scenes episode of WandaVision uh, last week or a week and a half ago? If you
Uh, yeah,
did,
yeah,
did you
yeah,
watch
yeah.
that?
Behind the scenes, yeah.
It was really good if you didn't
Yeah,
watch
the
it.
making of
Yeah,
Forward
yeah,
and
yeah.
Research behind the scenes.
So
Yes,
if you
yes.
count stuff like that, then
Yeah.
basically every week for the rest of the year there's something. Like it's either a Disney Plus episode, a movie, a behind the scenes. So we
So they
got
have the behind the
we
scenes
got it
for
coming.
this and the other movie too, or the
I
other the other show as well.
I think every show is
Loki's
gonna
gonna be
have.
my favorite.
I'm excited for Loki.
Loki, it's
Low key, I'm
it's
excited for Loki.
yeah, it's cool that like, and I'm saying favorite a lot, and I will continue to do so. But it's cool that my probably favorite people in the MCU are getting way more respect. And maybe I guess my three favorite. Well, actually, this is interesting. I'll probably say the Winter Soldier and uh Ant-Man, which we didn't really get Ant-Man, but we got a character from Ant-Man. But so Winter Soldier and Loki otherwise are like two of my Ant-Man being the third. Those are my top three favorite people in the MCU. They're do a great job of bringing comedy, wit, and I just love that. So getting like full on,
Yeah, you
it's like, oh, I
feasted.
wish they got their own movies, but it's like better than movies. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
It's way, way better. Like you said, you couldn't have done what they just did for Wanda in a movie. And I mean, they freaking killed it. Processing grief, really establishing more so her character than ever before, and opening her up to actually becoming the Scarlet Witch, which is just super cool. Is beyond anything I could have ever imagined that they could have done in a movie. And so
Yeah.
now thinking, oh my gosh, my favorite guys are about to get the same treatment. Like I'm so fucking pumped
Hell yeah.
for this and for Loki and really just for everything else to come. Um, but yeah, maybe we'll get another Ant-Man somehow in here because of the Falcon and the Ant-Man having had their thing. Even
That'd be
if it's just a
interesting.
throwaway line of dialogue, I'd
Yeah,
like that.
I can see that. That'd be fun.
Like even something we've already seen, so I can say this, but the trailer shows Bucky, on the bottom of a truck, and the
Yeah.
Falcon flies next to him, and he's like, "Man, that girl just kicked your ass." So I
Yeah.
can see him be like, at least I didn't lose to an ant." Or something. But that's probably wishful thinking.
Hey,
Um,
dream big.
yeah, hey, and in the Marvel, nothing. Look at Elizabeth Olsen. She was like, "Yeah, my favorite part's House of M. They probably never do that," and boom, it's exactly what they did.
That's true.
Um, I wonder if she knew they were doing it before then, but I'm guessing not. But it's funny that's how that worked out. I just know Marvel's way smarter. Talking about some chess, Marvel plays chess while the rest of the world and media and all of us are playing checkers. Like, oh, we saw this. Is that what it means? And Marvel's like, nope, stupid bitches.
In
In
Feige
other
we
cases, we're
trust.
like, oh, yeah, yeah. All right, you ready to scream? That's what often. I mean, that's the only reason we're here.
Yeah, I guess so. I did have a few other things, but they're all kind of like
Oh,
spec.
whoa,
Well, no,
let's
no,
do
no.
them.
But wait,
Let's knock them
wait.
out.
But they're like. I think I kind of want to wait because they're just like speculative and like it's stuff that we haven't even seen yet. So I would rather just wait till it actually is it comes up. But
Yeah,
one
that's cool.
thing,
I don't want to get too far off
yeah,
into
yeah,
trailer.
yeah. Me neither. So, but one thing that I forgot, and I just a stupid note I wrote down, so I'm gonna say it, is that
Nice, I'm
it's a
excited.
funny parallel again, which this might be a stretch, but Bucky, he breaks up the between the old man and Unique when he's trying to throw his trash away. It's kind of like breaking up that fight in an alley, which is what he did for Steve. Like Steve would get in the fights in the alley,
Oh
and like,
yeah, taking up after the little guy in
yeah,
an alley. Well done, man. You're always catching that. That's definitely a parallel I'm sure they were going for.
And
Him stopping the little guy from getting picked on again all over, so, showing us he's still Bucky
he's still
Rogers.
Bucky there. Not Rogers, but yeah.
Yeah, wait, Bucky Rogers. What's his name? Bucky Barnes,
I
right?
am Steve Bucky, but wait, no, I just yeah, man,
Yeah,
you
Steve
got me
Rogers.
fucked up
Yeah,
now.
I'm Steve Bucky. Now
um,
that takes me to some DBZ, and they like did that thing where they touch fingers in the dance.
wait, what is his first name?
Bucky Barnes.
No, Bucky's his nickname, right?
Sebastian Stan, Sebastian Barnes.
Because he says, "I am no longer the Winter Soldier. I am blank Bucky Barnes." But doesn't he? Isn't that his phrase? The rule number 3. Gosh dang it!
Wait 1 second. I did write down.
I am
No, I just wrote down I'm no longer the Winter Soldier.
I am something Bucky Barnes is what he says. I think.
Man, we're pretty pathetic
I
for
know
not knowing.
we can't even name the
Can
main
we edit
character.
this part out? Lead character's name is whatever we say it is.
What is his name, dude?
Because
Oh,
we don't
James.
know.
It's James. James
James Buchanan
Buchanan. So
Barnes.
I am James Bucky Barnes. That's what he says.
Yeah, Buchanan. After you said James, I remembered. Gosh, dang it.
Anyway, I don't know
We
if
had to bring this up
I
so we
know
could reveal
we
how
just lost
stupid
we
we
just
were.
lost all credibility.
Yeah. Well, I think we might have done that when I was like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm not one of those people who will be offended when people explain things to me. I'll appreciate that. I'll be like, oh, I am not smart, and you are sharing great info. Thank you.
Very nice.
But I'm pretty proud of this. As our first Scream fix. You know, what's still left to be seen is the most important part, which is the Scream.
Yeah, I mean we got
But
way
I
off
love that
track.
we got to talk about this. Yeah, way off
Yeah,
track here, you
I
know.
mean this is a
It is a
podcast about
podcast
screaming.
about screaming. It's not about Falcon Winter Soldier, but it's definitely been fun to talk about
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
Because I mean, you know, we can't just come on here and give the people what they want immediately.
Right.
You got to kind of make them want, salivate for it. You know, maybe we lost a couple people. Maybe they've come back and joined in. They're still
Where's the
talking
screaming?
about
They
Falcon Winter
wondering.
Soldier. Yeah, but again, we're screaming. We're here to do it. I know you're worried a little bit about the audio or how it works. I think a great thing, and this will be fun to look back on because we're just going to be making this decision here in our first episode, really hitting home that we do not plan things out. Um, I think we should scream, and as we're screaming, it cuts, or we're screaming, and we can cut to mute after we start our screams, and then just like drop out immediately. Also, I'm just seeing the Discord chat. Is there a way for me to see everything else involved here, like at the same time? Because I know you're probably looking at the cool,
Um,
awesome setup you did and you worked hard on. Shout out to Will. He does everything on this. I don't do much.
so not this time, but I can stream this, and so you could pull up a stream, but I didn't do that this time. But it's something we could do in the future.
I like streaming. That's all I offer to you.
Okay.
Anyways, as we're getting into our first scream here, we talked about superheroes this whole podcast. I'm thinking maybe like a superhero scream. Like maybe it's Spider-Man and I'm lifting that building that just fell onto me for the first time, and I'm hearing Tony Stark in my head be like, "If you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve it." And I'm Spider-Man.
Okay. Okay. I like
What
that.
kind of scream are you gonna be channeling?
I thought we were both doing that one.
I feel
So,
like we should constantly be on different
I feel like
screams.
we should have a theme that like everyone can kind of strive toward. You know,
Yeah,
like
well, Scream with us is gonna be something. Show us your screams, and then have like people join us and scream with us. You know, I feel like that would be awesome. But
yeah,
if you want to
screaming's
just both do, I mean, I believe in screaming, and I
screaming's
guess
just
the
good for the
word,
soul, man.
yeah, yelping is what they called it back in the day in the old barbarian days.
Oh,
And it's just I think it's mentally healthy to scream
I agree.
into
It's
a pillow
cleansing.
out loud. I would not recommend screaming in someone's face.
That
That's not what I would do.
yeah, that could be
But I do
iffy.
think screaming in general is a good idea.
Scream on
You
your
don't
own
want to,
time in a safe
yeah,
place.
scream on your own time. Safe place, safe
Yeah.
place. Don't be around a bunch of sleeping babies and scream and think that you're a good person.
Although, in my experience, the sleeping babies like to scream with you. So
And babies, they're never wrong. Period. Babies
True.
are never wrong.
True.
I've never heard of anyone blame a baby saying that they're wrong. I don't think they can be wrong.
They are
But
stupid though.
let's go ahead. Yeah, they're not smart. You know what's hilarious though? Your dumbest baby is probably just as smart as your smartest dolphin, and we'll
No.
we'll just we'll leave it here at
We'll
that.
talk about that next episode.
I don't have a beef with dolphins, but I just don't think they deserve this credit of being so smart, you know? But again, we'll leave that. Do we want like a timer? Maybe a timer should pop up at some point and like count down. In fact, we maybe say, "Hey, start the timer," and then we know no matter where we are in 5 minutes from now, when it hits zero, we're just gonna scream and end the episode.
Okay, I can have that
Um,
set up for next time.
Give me the scream countdown clock I desire. Um, but anyways, what are other things we should shout out that don't sponsor us but that we like?
Um.
Like,
Hmm.
I like I have a buddy who's doing a podcast on addiction, and I don't want to get it wrong, so I'll save it for next time. But it's been really, really good, and everyone should go listen to that. And we definitely, this is phony coming from me, but it's legit coming from you. We definitely probably should shout out. Oh, dude, I do this every time. I want to make sure I say the right thing again. It's coming to me. Um, Thursdays.
Oh, Critical Role.
Critical Role. We got to shout out Critical Role. I
Hmm.
feel like you have garnered a lot of your desire and passion to do something like this from a lot of what they do with their podcasts and their streaming events and their D&D game.
Oh, of course. Shout out.
Maybe yeah, well, maybe don't let me give you a shout out in your name, but I just thought that that was deserving.
Oh no,
I know,
yeah.
again, I already said Jalen Rose, but I want to shout out David Jacoby, whose name those two and I guess Bill Simmons, who gave them their start. I've listened to them for forever. And I wouldn't be game or excited to do this having not heard them. So just as a first episode moment to pay respect to the OGs
Okay,
from
I
people from
respect that. Yeah, Critical Roles.
before we were famous, before we took over, before we
Right,
blow them out of the water,
right. Of course.
Yeah, that way when
Everybody
they come on, we
understood
can
that
be like,
part.
that part didn't need clarification.
Duh.
Um, at this point, I'm just stalling for the screen.
Yeah. All right. Well, wait. Should I mute it?
I feel like we should at least start the scream and then mute it, but that way no one thinks we're phony or fake screamers, dude.
Okay. Well,
And
okay.
they're here for the screaming. Let's
Yeah. I
not
mean,
kid
we're all here
ourselves.
for
They
the
want us
screaming.
to
That's what
scream.
this is about.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
still think it'd just be cool if we were doing two different screams. Like, what if you did a scream for, or you take the Spider-Man scream. Will is Spider-Man, so everyone knows that's what we call him. So you do the Spider-Man scream if you liked that. I'll do like a damsel in distress, from like a 1950 train robbery where there wasn't even sound back then, you know.
Okay.
But I'll give you the sound of what it sounded like on set,
Okay. Gotcha.
you know. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut. We're doing it, but I will try to cut it off very quickly. So
Okay. Can I get a second to just maybe get into character
yeah,
here?
prepare your ears.
Also, I've definitely already forgotten a lot of the details I added there. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm ready.
All right. Do we do a countdown?
I definitely think you should put some fingers up on the screen and count us down like and then boom, scream, mute, and then do I stay on to chat afterwards? Will you be able to cut it off, or how does this work? Do we have to immediately drop from the call?
No, we can. I'll drop it.
You'll drop it.
Yeah. So you
All
don't
right,
need
here
to.
we go,
All
dude. I'm
right.
so fucking
Here,
pumped.
you do the fingers. You do the fingers.
Thanks for inviting me to do this.
Ah!